Hey guys, welcome back to Bibliophile Reads. I'm Courtney, and today you're joining me for another weekly wrap-up. We are here Saturday night filming this. I'm always trying to cram in those last minutes of reading before I film this video. So this week I did read 5 books, but it was a struggle. So I'm going to go through what I read and why it was such a struggle. So last week, most of the books that I picked were books that I could not get through. So one I picked was The Starling House. And I was really excited about this, and I'm not going to like completely DNF it, just kind of soft DNFing it, because the way it started and the way it was reading just didn't capture my attention right now. I think the cover is kind of misleading, and I thought it was more like a spooky sort of book, and I don't think it is that necessarily. I am just like a few pages in, but basically following Opal. She is like homeless. She lives with her brother. They're living in a motel that a lady has allowed them to stay in. Their mother is MIA. Their dad is, I think, dead. And the Opal needs money. And she starts working for the Starling House, for East Starling, or somebody at the Starling House. That's as far as I got. So it kind of just seems a little eerie, but not like strange. Anyway, like I said, I couldn't get into it, so I soft DNF'd it. Then I also tried to pick up, hold on, let me just double check. What's Big Witch Energy by Molly Harper. That one also, I just couldn't catch a groove on. Again, not a complete DNF, just a soft DNF. It was a busy week for me, so I knew that I needed to pick books that I could kind of get through. I actually had a 2-day conference and then a leadership training on Friday. So basically Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I was pooped at the end of each day. And so I knew that I needed to like make up for that earlier in the week. And both Big Witch Energy and Starling House were most definitely going to slump me. So I had to soft DNF those. But I was very excited to have my commute, and I started the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Everybody's been talking about this. I guess it's a TikTok sensation. This book's by Laura Gilmore, and I want to get the names right. So I listen to this on audio. Whenever I have to go in person or conferences or things, I always try to pick an audiobook, because when I was working at an in-person job all the time, I would generally have an audiobook going, and that was a really great way to get some books done. And it's just nice to like kind of follow a story while you're commuting versus like trying to find a song or something. Sometimes I listen to music and it's just fine, but I wanted to listen to this book because I tried to read it on my Kindle a couple of times, because I have all 3 books that are out right now on my Kindle, and I tried to read it and it just wasn't hitting for me. And so I wanted to do the audio. Anyway, I'm so glad I did, because it was so good with the audio. Okay, so this book follows, hold on, let me pull the names up. So this book follows Jeannie and, what's the guy's name again? Logan. So Jeannie is an ex sort of corporate girly who comes to a small town, think Star Hollows, and she is taking over her aunt's coffee shop. Now, her aunt hasn't died, but her aunt's retired. She's going to Florida. She's going to live her retirement life and have the best time ever. Jeannie starts in her cafe, and you know, she's just trying to get it off the ground. It's not open yet. She's trying to figure it out. She's not really like a cafe owner, but she experienced something traumatic at her corporate job and wanted to come out of that situation. And so here she is running this coffee shop with no idea what to do. The problem is she's been hearing a lot of spooky noises at night, and so she hasn't gotten a chance to like get good sleep, which is preventing her from getting good work done during the day. So one of the times she hears a spooky noise, she opens up the back door, and there's Logan. He's delivering some produce. He's a grumpy, handsome farmer who is at her back door delivering things like he always does, and things start rolling from there. So then they kind of do a stakeout in her house to find out what the noise is, and they find a cat, but they never really track down the precise noise. That's part of the story, so I don't want to give that away, kind of like a mystery element. And so as they're trying to figure that out and she gets acquainted with the town, her and Logan start getting a bit closer because they're spending a lot of time together. And Logan's like the town's golden boy. Everybody looks out for him. He had his heart broken by a girl from the city who came in, stole his heart, and ran off. And they're kind of scared that Jeannie will do the same thing. So she has to kind of prove to herself, the town, and Logan that she's here to stay and here for the right reason. So it was such a good book. And like I said, I'm really glad that I stuck with it. And by sticking with it, I mean listening to it on audio, because if I didn't, I really would have missed out on a really great story. They're not very long either. I believe the Audible was, or the audio was on Spotify Premium. So if you have Spotify Premium, you have access to those audiobooks. And because I have access to those audiobooks, I canceled my Audible. With Spotify, you only get like 15 hours a month, so be conscientious of that. But this book was a 7-hour book, but I listened to it at 2 times speed. And then when I got home from my 2 days of commuting, I had about 11 chapters to read, and so I just read that Thursday night, and it was perfect. So I'm looking forward to starting the Cinnabon bookstore. I might save that for November and then the Christmas Tree Farm for December, because that just sounds ideal. But I ended up giving that book, I want to say 4 or 5 stars. It was really good. Like I said, super cozy, highly recommend. So then after that, I decided to pick up, finally, my Vampire Plus One. I have the physical book. I also have it on my Kindle. I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars. I actually liked this better than the first book, My Roommate is a Vampire. This book follows Amelia and Reggie. Reggie is friends with Frederick, who's from the first book, and Amelia's brother is best friends with Cassie. Cassie and Frederick are a couple from the first book. So there is a connection there. They don't have that connection at first. Reggie and Amelia bump into each other on the street. He's handsome, she's beautiful, and then they kind of go their separate ways. And then she has some family obligations to a wedding coming up, and so her whole family's been on her case about finding a date, and so she just blurts out that she has a boyfriend, and she has to find a fake boyfriend. She sees Reggie at a coffee shop with her friend, and she's like, hey, I know that guy, I'm just gonna go ask him out. And so she very boldly asks him to be her fake boyfriend, runs down all of the things that she needs from him, and he agrees. And so we start a fake boyfriend trope, and he does a really good job with it. Now, just like in the first book, Reggie is a little bit distant, obviously, from the era that we're in, right? So he's not really the best with understanding common things of the times. And so she doesn't pick up on the fact that he's a vampire until she sees his fangs when they're kissing, and which was really interesting to me. But the reason why it's got a 3.5 and not higher, because I really was going towards a 4, was when they kind of got a little bit more physical. What happens during that period gave me the biggest ick, and I don't want to spoil it for you because you might like that and enjoy the whole thing of it, but to me it was just like, okay, like I'm good. I don't know if she's having more books coming out. That's Jenna Levine. I don't know if she's having more books coming out in this series. Like I said, I liked it. I think I would read it, another one, and this one was better than the first one. So if you read the first one and you loved it, I think you'll love this one more. If you read the first one and you're just kind of in between about it, again, I think you'll like this one. So I loved that. Okay, so the last book that I read this week was actually the first book, but I kind of let it slip my mind. I feel like it's been so long ago, and it was just okay. I gave this 3 stars, and that was The Wedding Witch. And this is part of a series by Erin Sterling. She has The Ex-Hex and The Kiss Curse, and now The Wedding Witch. This book follows Tamsin and Bowen Penhallow. Penhallow is the family that we're sort of following throughout the series. And Tamsin is a person who, she kind of goes on these jobs to find really important witchy items from sort of dark witches, and she collects them, and people give her money to find those items. And so Bowen actually employs her, but while she's on a break, she does a job for somebody else, and she sees Bowen at the party that she's at trying to like obtain the item, which happens to be a necklace. And Bowen knows a little back history of this necklace. Anyway, it's rooted in the family. Somebody needs this, and somehow, which I still don't quite get, they time traveled to 1958, and they are now in the Penhallows past, where we have like Ben's grandparents and parents in the home, and they have to, it's giving very much Back to the Future, and they have to make sure like things stay correct, or they have to fix something to make sure that however they get this collector piece happens. It sounds confusing because it is. I didn't love it. I kind of got where they were going with it. I did like it better than the X-Hex, but the Kiss Curse is still my favorite in this series. I don't think it's something to pass up. I think if you're already invested in the series, go ahead and read it. But I really thought like the basis of it wasn't super like original. Like I said, it felt very much like Back to the Future. And so I don't think it was the best. That's why I think I probably forgot about it. But like I said, if you're already in this world, go for it, read it. It's only like 277 pages, so it's not terribly long, but it wasn't my favorite read of the week. Then the last 2 books that I read, so 5 books, very excited about that. I finally got to finish Wings of Fire, book 2, The Lost Heir. As I mentioned before, I was reading the first Wings of Fire last year around this time by the request of my youngest, who loves Wings of Fire. And I've been sitting on book 2 for a hot minute. I finally picked it up. I really like this. I give it 5 stars. It is a series, so I don't know how much really to share, but I will say that this book was better to me than the first book. It had a lot more action in it, a lot more drama, and a little bit more to figure out. The first book, even though it's a graphic novel, there is quite a bit of world building still that I needed to figure out. And so that's why that one was kind of confusing, and I wasn't like running to the second one, but I think I'm ready for the third one because this one was pretty good. And then the last book of the week is Marianne Plus Too Many Babies. This is book 52. And in this one, we are following Marianne, who starts babysitting twins. And her and Dawn, who are now stepsisters, think that they should have a brother or sister of their own, which is a lot to unpack. And so this is just a regular 3-star. Marianne books are okay. And it's funny because when I was a kid, I would find myself to be a Marianne or a Mallory. And now as an adult, those ones are harder to read. But this one's just an okay read. But if you are new to my channel, I have so many new subscribers. I am rereading the Babysitters Club from the beginning. I started this probably last June, so I'm on book 52. I just read them as I can. I'm reading them in publication order, so I need to go back and check my list to see if I'm ready for another super special or what's next up on the docket. But those are the 5 books that I read this past week. So let me tell you what I'm going to read coming up the last week of October. Okay, I have a feeling this week is going to be a little bit of a mishmash. I have 3 books that I think I want to read, but there's only a few days left of October. I also like to leave a day or two to not read before the next month so I don't burn myself out. So I have a couple of choices, but I don't know yet. Before I show you, I just want to open up a quick package because, okay, so if you've been here for a while, you know that I have a Kobo color, and the Kobo color comes with well, it doesn't come with, but you can get a stylus for it. Super exciting. And for some reason, I lost the stylus. I have no idea where it went. I've looked everywhere it could possibly be. I've looked in under my bed, all over the place, and it was nowhere. So I did pick up a different pencil to go with the Kobo color. I didn't find myself annotating a lot, but what I do like about the annotation on the Kobo is that you can annotate right on the book versus on the Kindle. You have to like hit the note box, you make a little note, and then it kind of tags that part in the book. On the Kobo, you just write right on the screen and the note's right there. So I wasn't using it. I didn't care until I didn't have it. And then I was like, I need to find it. So there is the Kobo pencil again. I'll link that video because I've already done like the whole shebangy bang with that opening and showing everybody. But I just had to replace it because I did. But I wonder how other people are storing their Kobo pencils because of the stylus, because it's hard to keep up with. Okay, so this week I have 3 random books, and I can tell you right now, I don't know how I feel about these. But the first book I would love to read is Dearest by Jackie Walters. This is a Book of the Month Club add-on that I picked up. And this one is about a mom who has just had a daughter, and she gets some help from her mom, and her mom's kind of like an oddball, and her mom possibly brings in some scary energy, and so I'm interested to see what that's about. And these thrillers from Book of the Month Club go really quickly, so excited about that. I also picked up this month Percy Jackson and the Olympus, the Chalice of the Gods. I would like to read this. It's a short one, but I also want to get into this new series, and so I would love to get that knocked out. And then I have this from the library, which they might be hunting me down pretty soon. But this is Loathe at First Sight by Suzanne Park, and this book is about a female computer program video gamer producer person, and she has a CEO, male CEO, who is very hard to work with, and they have to suddenly work together on a project. So I think that'll be a really cute romance. I'm looking for something cute, fluffy, easy to get through, fast-paced, and so these are the 3 books that I picked for this week. Currently, I've read 16 books for the month, so 3 more would be 19. And we'll see where we're going. Now, all of these books are physical, and I know I'm going to want to read something on the Kindle. So I have a few options that I could be picking up, but I don't know yet until I get there. So make sure you stay tuned for next week's wrap up to see what I ended up choosing. So that is everything for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share my channel. And as always, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.